Hello, good afternoon, good morning, everybody. My name is Deb Coviello, and I have the honor of chatting with Sarah Forbis Gutierrez today. She is an amazing human, and I just want to welcome her to Drop In CEO Live Talk Media. Welcome to the conversation today, Sarah.
Thank you for having me, Deb.
All right, I am so excited. So today's theme really resonates with me. We're going to be talking about the courage to trying something new. And Sarah, I just want to thank you. You and I have had several conversations. I am so excited about supporting your career and your growth. I respect you. I also have learned so much from you, giving me the confidence that I can not only hear and see you, and there is some advice that resonates with you. And I also just want to mention to other people, I am getting ready to write a book. It will be something around the CEO's guide to peace of mind. But really, the message for those people is that sometimes you're amazingly successful, and then you come to a point where you're no longer a rock star, and you look around the room and you say, "Where are my support systems?" And sometimes CEOs, COOs can get very stuck. But fast forward, you're another transitional person. You're one of my heroes. And you also arrived at a place in your career where you looked around the room for support and you realized that you needed something to help you move forward. So, what was it? Where were you in your career when you realized you needed either a mentor or a support system?
Yeah, no, great question. I was fortunate enough to join the flavor and fragrance industry back in 2011. And I think at that point in time, I had some really great leadership in my career, and they were mentors. Maybe I didn't quite realize it at the time. And I think where the change comes in that transition period is when I really started seeking it externally. We had the chance to work with the women of flavor and fragrance, and that's how kind of you and I connected. So working with that mentor and mentee program and really, kind of taking that step from an external source, I think that was pretty critical outside of my safe zone. And I noticed kind of myself, I would find myself, instead of bringing problems to my management team, I was trying to bring more solutions. So I wanted to get out of that daily kind of grind and be a better strategic thinker. And I think that's one evolution that you've really helped me with, Deb.
All right, so that's amazing. So again, kudos to you for just having that awareness. Sometimes people just go in and day out, doing their job, hoping to be seen, recognized, respected, and it just doesn't happen. So sometimes we have to go and seek out that support system. But I'm curious, and I know you, kudos to you, you have several people that you use as your guides in your life. But I'm curious, is there something that as a result of the support system you had the courage to try something new, and was it successful, or did you learn something about yourself in the process?
Well, the first thing I would say is here we are today with this virtual live meeting. So this is huge. So when you and I had kind of first started discussing and laying out goals and really digging into things, one of the aha moments that I had was when we started talking about how to improve some public speaking areas. And we really identified kind of what the issue was, because we were sitting in front of each other and we had this great dialogue, and then I would stand in front of an audience and we'd realize I wasn't aware whether it was my posture or the way I was coming across. So really recognizing those things and becoming aware of them has really been helpful, especially you had kind of diagnosed me from that aspect. I really appreciate that. But it really just comes down to that kind of self-confidence piece and building that area of my professional life.
And I remember that moment, and you share that you've had some pretty good success since then in how you show up. And sometimes it's just somebody else seeing you for who I believe you are and are becoming, and just to be able to get over that hunch. So I'm so excited to have been part of that conversation. But let's start thinking about your thought leadership. You're a very smart person, you're a go-getter, you're out there, you're supporting others. But I think you also have messages as well. So if you had the opportunity to speak to senior leaders or CEOs of companies, what would be some of your advice or thoughts about providing that support for high performers like yourself?
Yeah, I would say number one is definitely keeping that open door and the lines of communication open, even as a conversation, on a day-to-day basis. And I think really whether it's praise or recognition of those solution-minded people that do bring you solutions versus problems, and then actually challenging them through your thought process of, how we can improve that. Because that's one area that you've really done is challenge me think differently. So I think if leaders in organizations can do that, it will help all of us grow.
And I appreciate that, and thank you again. First of all, to you, thank you for having the awareness. And then you're right. Our leaders don't always have all the answers. We are smart. They hire very smart people. We need to come to them with our proposals and ideas and accept the fact that if they challenge it, because at least you put something on the table first for them to challenge. And again, they have to learn their style in order to not only challenge it, enrich it, or if nothing else, you got some data in the process of how to better position a proposal, and you'll try something new next time. So again, we are the ones that are courageous in bringing those ideas to our leaders again. And with the right leader, they'll respect you and engage with you even more for your thoughts and proposals. But
Definitely.
you have a lot to give back. So let's think about other people that are following in your footsteps or following the same path as you. They're also high performers. What would you share with them? What would you tell them? What kind of courage would you encourage them to have?
Yeah, definitely. I would say so 10 years ago when I joined the industry, it was a time of constant change for me. There were within 5 years there were five different acquisitions, so it was that continual change. And then going 5 years ago, I joined a much more stable organization. So I've had the chance to kind of understand the whirlwind and then and the challenges that come across there. So I would really say continue challenging that status quo, always doing things the way that they've always been done. So there are always better ways to do things, I think, and really just sweating that small stuff. So I think that was something that early on that I really I was not very good at. So really kind of just developing my skills and patience. And really just staying persistent throughout. Even, you're going to hear no consistently, but just kind of keep pushing.
Again, courage. Again, we have to learn what is the status quo. But one thing as leaders is that sometimes we can get stuck in just doing
Yeah.
versus independent thinking. And for as many people that they may challenge you or say, no, we don't do it that way, you may find that 1% that says, I appreciate you stepping forward. You have the courage that others do not have. So, one more question. I have so enjoyed this conversation, and I'm actually switching it up on you just a little bit. So,
Yeah.
be courageous. I was going to talk about, if you could give yourself advice 5 to 10 years ago, what would that be? However, you're looking towards the future. You have your eyes set on the prize. What advice would you give yourself to consider to be you in the future 5 or 10 years from now? What would you tell yourself now to get you where you need to go?
Definitely. I would say one of the best tools that you have provided me was kind of that analysis of setting goals and looking at that 5 year goal, breaking it down to a 1 year, putting it into a 12 month, and then breaking it down to a daily basis. So even if that goal maybe right now doesn't seem achievable, set it out there and work incrementally each day to kind of meet that goal. And I've seen it with you. You've grown exponentially just since we've met over the last year and a half. And I look up to that, and that's kind of where I want to be with my career also.
All right. So, first of all, you've done amazing. You got over any nerves of coming on here today. I sincerely appreciate the friendship, the professional support that we have through WFFC. And I sincerely want to thank you for coming on here today. Any last comments or questions before we bring it to a close?
I just want to thank you, Deb, for all your support and your mentorship. I've learned so much, and I appreciate everything you shared with me and through all of your development programs, and I really appreciate it.
All right. I wish you continued great success. Be healthy, be safe, have a great holiday, and we'll talk soon. So thank you so much.
Thank you.